Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium, Bengaluru welcomes you to demonstrations in astronomy. Most of the planets in our solar system have their axis of rotation almost perpendicular to their respective orbital planes. But there are some exceptions, and one such exception is our very own Earth itself. As we all know, the axis of rotation of the Earth is not perpendicular to its orbital plane, but it makes an angle of 23.5 degrees with respect to that perpendicular, which means it makes an angle of 66.5 degree with its orbital plane. But there is another planet whose axis of rotation is much more closer to its orbital plane, and that planet is our Uranus. The axis of rotation of Uranus makes an angle of nearly 8 degrees with respect to its orbital plane, which means we can more or less say that the axis of rotation is almost in orbital plane of the Uranus. As a result of it, there are some interesting aspects that happens on Uranus. The model here demonstrates you one such interesting aspect that happens due to the axial tilt of the planet Uranus. So in this model, here is our Sun and this is our Uranus. We have actually placed here an imaginary observer, and this circle here defines his horizon. So as you can see now, this observer is placed at the pole of the Uranus, and as of now, Sun is directly above his head. So this is the situation of noon for this imaginary observer. Now, as the Uranus revolves around the Sun, what will be the position of the Sun for this observer? Let us see that now. As you can see, Uranus has now covered 1/4 in its orbit, and for that observer, now the Sun has just gone below the horizon. So this is sunset for that imaginary observer. As Uranus covers another 1/4 in its orbit, okay. So now Uranus has covered half of its orbit, and as you can see, this is the situation of midnight for the observer. So the Sun is onto this side and the observer is onto that side. So this is the situation of midnight for this observer. Now Uranus has covered 3/4 of its orbit, and now as you can see, the Sun is just rising for this observer. And now Uranus has covered one complete revolution around the Sun, and now once again this observer is having Sun directly above his head. So this is again the situation of noon. So now it is as if a day has been elapsed for this observer, but in the process, Uranus has actually gone around the Sun once, which means actually a year has been completed on the planet Uranus. So due to this kind of a tilt in the axis of rotation of the planet Uranus, the imaginary observer here on the North Pole experiences one day in 1 year.